Page number 172 continued. Munnu's suspense was spiced by the anticipation of the exalted contact with an Englishman that he would soon enjoy. He recalled the small face of Mr. England at the house of the Babu in Shamnagar and the glistening bald head of the Sahib who came to Cat Killer's Lane in Daulatpur. He was elated. Lakshmi looked towards her husband as if she were going to say something, because her heart too had begun to throb with the joy of being able to see one of those red-faced men whom she had always seen through her veil from afar. But she suppressed her happiness and kept quiet. She had set the children playing about with pebbles and pieces of stone on the road to divert their attention from the breakfast they might want. "Don't throw stones about," shouted Nadir Khan, striking the end of his rifle on the ground when he heard the wild, free tone of the children's laughter. They came running to hide behind their mother's skirt. Hari turned on them with a rebuke. Lakshmi pressed them into her lap. Munnu smiled sympathetically. At this juncture appeared Jimmy Thomas, sometimes mechanic in a Lancashire mill, now for 15 years head of the foreman in one of the end of page 172, now page 173, biggest cotton mills in India. A massive man with a scarlet bulldog face and a small waxed moustache, his huge body dressed in a greasy white shirt, greasy white trousers and a greasy white polo topi, of which the leather strap hung down at the back of his thick neck. "Salam Huzur, Chimta Sahib," said Hari, bending low and taking the palm of his hand to his forehead. "Tum Hari," said Jimmy Thomas. "You come back?" "Yes, Huzur, my baap," said Hari, joining his hands, "and I have brought my wife and child also to work, and a young man from the north." "Why did you not bring the whole of your village, you son of a dog?" said Jimmy Thomas, who had not only acquired the Indian accent but the Indian manner and the Indian swear words. "I will write a letter to some more people, Huzur, if you need more workers," said the simple Hari, innocent of the foreman's sneer. "You stupid bullock," said Jimmy irritably. "There are no jobs here. Perhaps for that boy," he continued, looking Munnu up and down. "But I have very little room." "But Huzur," said Hari, pushing forward his hands in abject humility, "you are the giver of food to the poor, Sahib. You are mother and father. You can make room for us." "Acha, acha. 30 rupees a month altogether," said Jimmy Thomas, raising his hands high in the air and showing the tigers, the snakes and the women he had tattooed on his bare arms. 10 for you, 10 for that boy, 5 for your wife, and 2.5 each for those children." "But Huzur," said Hari, touching the foreman's black boots with his hands and taking the touch of the beef hide to his forehead, "be kind. Just think that we have to live in a room here and the food is expensive." "What have you done for me that I should think of that?" said the foreman, blushing purple and seeking to control his confusion by twirling his waxed moustache. "What have you brought as a gift from your village for the Mem Sahib that I should be kind to you? You have never given me or the Mem Sahib a basket of fruit on Christmas Day. If the pay suits you all, take it, otherwise go away." And he made to go. End of page number 173. Now page number 174. "Oh Huzur," Hari wailed and almost ran towards the Sahib. "We will please you, but be kind to us. I was getting 15 rupees a month when I was here before." "You think, you bloody fool," said the foreman bluntly, "that you can go away when you like and come back when you like and get the same pay all the time? The Bada Sahib has ordered me not to take any coolies back who have once left. He doesn't want old and used men. I am doing you a favor. Bhenchot, "Oh, Huzur," entreated Hari, joining his hands again, "please be kind for us for the sake of these children." "Yes," said the foreman, "you have the pleasure of going to bed together, you damn fools, and breed like rabbits, and I should be kind to you when your child comes. You black man, you who relieve yourselves on the ground." "Huzur Sahib," interposed Munnu, "I heard in Daulatpur that the least pay for work in a factory was 30 rupees. "You bark a lie," said Jimmy Thomas, and he would have burst, but Lal Kaka brought a book for him to sign. "Let us try somewhere else," whispered Munnu, nudging Hari by the elbow. Hari was not so hopeful about the other factories, and he knew. "Acha, speak. You want the job or no?" said Jimmy finally, with another twirl to the edges of his moustache. "You will find no work elsewhere. There are hundreds of coolies in Bombay who can't work at all. I take you because you have experience and the boy there looks smart." "Oh, Huzur," said Hari, "we want to work with you, but be kind and consider our lot. Rice is so dear here." "Acha, acha, you can have 15 rupees a month," said the foreman, flourishing his hands frighteningly. "I take pity on you this time, but you know you did not do anything for me the last time you were here. I am kind to you folk." He set about to do business with a sudden smile. "And now I suppose you have no money? Well, I will advance you 10 rupees at 4 annas in the rupee, which sum I will add to the regular monthly commission you give to me." "Agreed. I will go and fetch the money." He went. "I lent money on a lower interest," said Nadir Khan, 2 annas on a rupee. "Now we have agreed with." End of page 174. Now page 175. "Now we have agreed with the Sahib," said Hari, his heart thumping at the thought that Nadir Khan might be angry with him. Munnu took advantage of the Sahib's absence and Nadir Khan's momentary withdrawal into the watch cabin to nudge Hari again and to whisper to him the absurdity of having to pay a commission to the foreman besides an exorbitant interest on the money he was borrowing. "It is no use," replied Hari, wearily shrugging his shoulders. "It is the same everywhere. Paying a commission to the foreman is a question of self-preservation. He is the most important man in the factory." Indeed, thought Munnu, the Sahib must be an important man, but his clothes were greasy. He did not know that the Sahib in greasy clothes was the virtual master of the factory. From the number of functions entrusted to him, he did not know that he was the employer's agent to engage workmen, the god on whose bounty the workmen depended for the security of their jobs once they got them, that he was the man in charge, responsible for the supervision of the labourers while at work, that he was the chief mechanic who, with other mechanics, helped to keep the machines in running order, that he was the technical teacher of the workers, that he was the intermediary between the employers and the worker. It was through him that the employer signified any change he wished to communicate to the workers. That because of all this, he charged every worker in the factory a price for the gift of a job, a price which went up if there were more men about than there were vacancies to fill, and that incidentally he ran a money lender's business, that lastly he was a landlord who owned hundreds of straw huts in the neighborhood and rented them out to the coolies at a profit. It was in the capacity of the landlord that he appeared when he brought the money. "I have a hut," he said, "at the head of Sahib's Lane, for which the rent is 5 rupees a month. It is open. Go and occupy it before I let it to somebody else. I will let you have it for 3 rupees. "Huzur, you are kind. You are my father and mother," said Hari, touching his forehead with the palm of his hand again. All right, go, and be here sharp to the tune of the first whistle tomorrow morning, all of you," said Jimmy Thomas, twirling his moustache again and curling his lips into a benevolence that hardened his soft, fat, padded face. End of page 175. Now page 176. The cavalcade walked back the way it had come. That is the Sahib's lane, said Hari, as they crossed the road and entered a pit bordered by heaps of rotting garbage and pools of noisome sewers, and that there is perhaps the hut which the Sahib has rented us. Did he not say it is at the head of the lane? He pointed to the nearest of the many straw huts, about 6 feet tall and 5 feet wide, which stood in parallel lines at the foot of the long grey tenements which stretched horizontally 100 yards away. The old man seemed to know every patch of ground, having lived here for a year before he went away to his village to recuperate from the strain of work and to fetch his family. He went up to the shed at the base of the lane and, lifting the sacking from which hung at the low doorway, stooped and led the party into the cavernous room. The roof of clumsy straw mats which drooped dangerously on the sides from the cracked beams supporting it in the middle was not high enough for Munnu or Hari's wife to stand in, though Hari, whose back was bent, escaped hitting his head against it. The mud floor was at a level lower than the pathway outside, overgrown with grass, which was nourished by the inflow of rain water. The cottage boasted not a window nor a chimney to let in the air and light and to eject the smoke, but then had it not the advantage of a sound sackcloth curtain at its door? When most of the huts in the neighborhood had torn and tattered jute bags or broken cane chicks, old rags, bent tins, and washing and what not to guard them against the world. Let us settle down and rest, said Hari, taking everything for granted. Lakshmi, give us all some of the food left from the journey. Munnu's dreams were shattered as he surveyed the gloom of the grave in which he stood, bending double, and as he smelled the damp, fetid smell that oozed from its sides, he had cast his eyes on the imposing tenements with the hope that he would live in one of those top-story rooms and survey the world from that supreme eminence. He suddenly felt a sweat covered his face and his head seemed to whirl in a frenzy of movement. Then the darkness seemed to come stealing over his eyes. He felt dizzy and faint and struggled to breathe in the suffocating atmosphere that enveloped him. He smiled and sank on the ground to save himself from swooning.